good, y'all? It's your boy Just B, and welcome to the Just B Show, y'all. This is season 3, episode 9 of People on the Rise. Man, I cannot say enough how dope this season of People on the Rise has been. I've been blessed with some of the best, some of the most talented, some of the most amazing individuals, whether it's been local, international, national. I've been blessed with so many great people. Before I introduce this young lady that I have here today, I need y'all to like, share, make sure y'all comment. If your comment is dope, I'll put it below on the screen so the world can see it. But it's Christmas, y'all, so do myself and Angela a favor and share this live. I would appreciate it. Now, you know what? I was going to give you this extravagant intro, but after the conversation that we had backstage, I feel like you very aware you can do it yourself. But let me just say, this is Angela Thomas Smith, y'all, the founder of AAA LAC. She be showing mad love to the authors out here, y'all, and I want y'all to give her as much respect and love as possible. Welcome to the Just B Show, Queen. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. How are you today?
Oh man, it's been one of them days, but I'm all right. I'm all right. My show makes it all better.
The energy, I love it. I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That's dope. So let's start with just introducing yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are.
Well, I am. I'm a woman of many hats. I am first and foremost. I'm a child of God. I'm an author. I'm a speaker, networker, collaborator. I just love promoting authors because when I started out, I didn't have anyone promoting me. So I started AALAC, which is the African American Author Literacy Awareness Campaign, where I truly believe in bringing awareness to brown authors all over this world. I also have Aspiring Authors Magazine, where my desire is to touch on topics that's affecting our brown community. So I do a lot because I want people to know that they have a voice and that the power that they have within them is their voice. And I want to give them a platform to share their voice, whether it's through speaking, poetry, words, books, whatever it is. I just want people to be able to use the E3 experience in their life and walk in their purpose. So that's the gist of who I am.
That's dope. Yo, before we continue, I want to put up 2 pictures real quick. This is the magazine. Make sure y'all go and check that magazine out, yo. If you want to get in it, you better contact Angela herself, and she'll make it happen, I'm sure. And I also want to give a big shout out to 10K Cards, yo. If you want a free digital business card, contact me for details. You see that little barcode right there? You put your phone up, point, shoot, boop, and all of the info comes up. If you know me, you've seen it happen. Let's get it popping, y'all. Yo, so what city are you in? Where you at?
I am in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Okay. How's the weather out there right now? Is it snowing?
Not yet. It's kind of cold, but not snowing.
Oh, okay. You original from South Carolina?
I am originally from upstate South Carolina, Anderson, South Carolina, near Clemson area.
Okay, that's dope. I ain't never been to South Carolina. I might have to come out there one day now that I know somebody. I'm just saying. That's what's
But
up.
most of my life, most of my adult life, I've lived in Atlanta.
Okay, that's what's
So
up.
I call
like
home
ATL.
South Carolina and Atlanta.
Oh, so it's like a slash?
Yeah.
Like one of these forward, backward slashes or whatever. That's cool. I mean, what made you leave Atlanta? Because Atlanta is dope. From what I hear.
Life, life experiences, things happen and you have to maneuver with what happens. So life happened and I ended up going back to my hometown.
Okay.
But I ended up going back to Atlanta before I moved here to Myrtle Beach. But I'm here now and I'm enjoying it and just enjoying life.
That's what's up. So I gotta ask you some of the basic questions that
Go ahead.
most interviewers or podcast hosts or whatever. I like to consider mine more of a talk show, but we'll roll with it for stats. But what made you? What were you doing before you became an author?
I was working with kids. Me and my best friend at the time, we decided to step out on faith, and we wanted to start a youth organization. I think I had just moved back to Anderson, South Carolina, and
Okay.
I wasn't really doing anything. And I was like, I know this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. So I was working with the food service program. I was providing meals to children in low income areas
Mm-hmm.
during the summer and after school. And I wanted to do more. So I met this young lady, and we decided that we were going to partner and do a program and work with kids. So we started what we call Pushing Grace. Um,
Okay.
and during that time, I incorporated what I call the E3 experience.
Okay.
And that's what I began to teach the kids. I wanted to educate them, empower them, and encourage them to walk in their purpose now instead of them waiting until they were an adult. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so we provided workshops and different things. So if my kids told me that they wanted to be a doctor, I brought a
Mm-hmm.
doctor in that looked like
Okay.
them, and so they could see themselves in that field. If they told me they wanted to be a chef, I brought somebody in that was operating in whatever field they told me they wanted to be in, so that they could actually see themselves in it, and then they can actually see, the requirements, everything that is take place to be in that field, so that
Mm-hmm.
they can start doing the research and start doing the things that they wanted to do to prepare themselves. We talked about entrepreneurship, we talked about financial literacy, we talked about all types of things that will prepare a kid for a future, and
Nice.
them not having to wait until they're an adult. I feel like we fail because we wait until we're an adult to think that we have to learn these things when we can learn these things along the way,
You ain't
and
never
you don't
lied.
know how they can help us in our everyday life.
Yeah.
Just being able to set goals,
Yeah.
you
That's
know,
beautiful.
and they
That's
don't teach
beautiful.
us this stuff.
Yeah, I can relate. When I was gonna say stationed. I ain't in the military, y'all. When I lived in Phoenix, Arizona, I had a nonprofit for the youth, youth empowerment and such. It was called STACK,
Hmm.
STACC. I got it tatted on me and everything. It means the world to me, but it stands for Stand Tall and Conquer Challenges. So coming up in the world, like it wasn't until I was maybe like 10 when I actually had someone that I could call a big brother. You know what I mean? Big shout out to Charles Williams, Buddha. I love you, bro. But it was so what we did was me and the person I was with at the time, we provided like that kind of encouragement from like a big brother, big sister standpoint
Hmm.
to the youth. You know what I mean? We just they get out of school, we'll tutor them. We were both dancers, so like hip hop dancers, y'all, not nothing crazy, but we would tutor them and show them dance moves and put on show little talent shows. I would go play basketball with them, like just sports, and then we would have like raffles to get them like new shoes and stuff like that, and it brought so much gratification for me. Like it was I can't even explain it. It was just like, I did that. This kid went home smiling. So what did it do for you when you would notice the help that you were, when you noticed that it was helping the youth?
Everything that I do because I want to see. I want to make a difference in somebody's life. I remember the kids coming to the program in the beginning and saying that they hated coming here
Mm-hmm.
because it was like school. And by the end of the program, they were didn't want to go home. Friday come, they didn't want to go home. They wanted to go home with Miss Angela. Parents would have to sit and wait on their kids. They would sit literally and wait on their kids until their kids was ready to go because they weren't ready to go when they got there. And to get compliments from parents saying how their kids were more sociable, um, reading more, how their grades had improved. It
Right.
just it made it just made a difference, and that's how I launched AALAC.
Okay.
Um, because of those babies, and me searching out for books, because when I ran into the problem of not being able to find books for my kids to read,
Mm-hmm.
because they weren't reading the books that we had plenty of books, but they wouldn't reading those books. And I would literally sit there and watch them, and they would tell me, I read it, Miss Angela, I read it. And I was like, well, what's on the front cover? And they couldn't even tell me what was on the front cover. So I
Right.
knew that they hadn't read the book. So we would sit down and talk to them. And finally the kids were saying, well, I can't relate to that. I don't play with dogs. I'm not Tommy. I'm not, you know. So I said, okay, well, let me find some books that my babies can relate to.
Right.
So I went to Facebook, and I
Hey.
found some local artists right here in South Carolina
Okay.
that were willing to travel to the program. And they came to the program, shared their books, um, and that started my journey in creating ALAC. It's like God dropped this in my spirit, and I haven't looked back. And that was in 2016. And
Nice.
when He dropped this in my spirit, I wasn't even an author at the time. So when I was like, AALSC, African American Author Literacy Awareness Campaign, I'm like, why am I doing all this for authors? And I'm not an author. Why am I going to do all this for authors?
Right.
And I became an author. And then becoming an author, I realized that authors have to go through a lot, and we don't get the recognition. We don't get a lot of the things that our counterparts get,
Mm-hmm.
um, because people don't think we're worthy. People don't think that we are good enough writers or literary good enough. So we have to prove ourselves 10, 20 times harder.
Right.
There are some amazing brown authors all over this world, not just here in America, but all over this world.
Yeah.
And I thank God for my platform, because it has given me an opportunity to meet authors from the Virgin Islands, from the UK, from Germany, from Africa, different parts of Africa. Not only that, it gave
Nice.
me an opportunity my editor for my magazine, she lives in Leicester, Africa, never left there. She's lived there all her life, born, raised. Um, and people truly don't understand the struggles that, they still go through over there in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Because we live the so-called nice life over here.
Right.
It's People don't understand what is it. Even in the 21st century, you would think that things would have progressed, and it seemed
Mm-hmm.
like it's regressed instead of progressed. And it's sad, because it's like people turn a deaf ear to things and a blind eye to things, and it's right there in open sight. And I didn't mean to get off subject, but that's just
No,
it
no,
just took me there.
no. It's okay because let me tell you, the foundation of the Just Be show, I was interviewing authors left and right. You know what I mean? So I respect it, and I'm trying to become an author myself. And at the end of this show, yo, like as a matter of fact, if you guys are an author or you ever thought about writing a book or a magazine or whatever, some form of publication, drop it down in the link. Put a thumbs up for me or 100 something. Let me know. Hit the heart button. Hit the like, because I don't have any problem being the platform for authors and aspiring authors to come on here and share their experience. I feel like when you can write something into book form, when you can write it down, period, besides in your journal, and put it out there for the world to read it, that's becoming very, very vulnerable.
Mhm.
You know, remember I was telling you, like I'm trying to drop 2 books right now, and I have to be vulnerable in order for these to be a success. And it's hard.
It's
It's
hard.
hard. So I'm trying to be an author, but I'm an aspiring author. But it's really,
It's
really
a
hard.
process, and it's a process. And it's something that, when you make up in your mind that, okay, this is what I want to do, and this is what I have to do. You have a
Mm-hmm.
message,
Yeah.
and you know that message has to get out, because you have lives that is dependent on that message.
Yeah.
And when you know that, and you get that, then you press through. And then when you begin to write, I don't know what writing does for you, but for me, it's healing. it helps me a lot of times. I can write, and even if I've dealt with this, like I lost my mom 12 days after my 16th birthday, and you know how I am. So it's been a while, but still, even when I think about it, I think about my mom, I get emotional. Like her birthday just passed,
Mm.
December 4th.
Happy
So
birthday.
December is it's very emotional for me. So when I was writing it for a poetry piece, sometimes I have to cry. Sometimes I have to yell. Sometimes I just have to do whatever. But
Yeah.
it's okay to be you. It's okay to let things out. It's okay to express because people have told us that we have to be strong and we have to hold this in and we have to do this and we have to do that. No, you don't. You don't. It's okay to be who you want to be, not who everybody think you should be. It's
Yeah.
okay to be you.
Yes.
If you
Yes.
sad, be sad. But just know that at some point that you got to get over that sadness. But it's okay to be. It's okay to be.
Yeah.
Just like your show, just be.
There you go.
Just be.
There you go. Literally, that's what it's about. Just be. I tell everybody, whatever you put after just be that. It kind of fits with everything. But most importantly, just be your best self. Be the best version of yourself. That's what I like to promote. Um, since we're kind of on the emotional topics, I do want to put this out there. Me and Angela was in the back on backstage talking about the two books that I'm trying to drop The Man Not the Reflection and 47 Deaths, which is a book about suicide. Um that's one thing I get emotional about too. But I push through it it's a process every day. And I'm constantly pushing through it, and I'm at a point in the book where one of the attempts was detrimental for me, and it changed who I am. Now, over time, it changed for the better, but at the time, it wasn't for the better. It was. I was bad. I was in a bad spot. You know what I mean? And so for somebody that's stuck like that, I'm literally. It's hard to type it. It's hard to write it. It's hard to read it. It's hard to think about it. It's like a hump that I just cannot manage to get over. But what kind of advice could you give people that's at like having that? It's not even writer's block, because I know what to say, but it's just hard.
So you to the point, it's hard for you to get it out, or
Yeah,
it's just.
yeah. Like I have to finish this chapter, but this chapter is one of the hardest chapters. You know what I mean? So it's
So
it's
what's
hard for me to
hard
go to
about
the
it?
next
Is
one.
it hard for you to let people see you that way, or is it hard for you to deal with whatever it was?
Kind of both. It's like, do I really want everybody to know that part? You know what I mean? And then at the same time, it's like when you're writing a book, you got to relive stuff,
Hmm. I
to
truly know
to
that.
to make it
Trust me.
genuine. So
Trust me.
reliving it is I break down every time, and I've been trying. I prayed about it. I've meditated. I've went for walks, jogs, spent time with my family. But when I come back to it, I'll be like, oh shoot.
So the very first book I wrote, I think I shared my journey on losing my mom 12 days after my 16th birthday. Of course, in doing that, it was a collaboration project. So in doing that, um, I also had to share the fact that I attempted suicide. Um, so I had to share all that in one chapter.
Mm,
So that was my first suicide attempt, and I remember losing my mom that day. And
mm,
when the nurse, I knew my mom was gone when the nurse came in the room and asked me to leave, and then they came back and asked me if I could call someone to come be with me. That's what their words were. Um, I knew that my mom was gone, but that day when we left the hospital to go to break the news to my brother, he was attending South Carolina State University, so we had to drive and tell him. And it was my father, who was not in my life, but that particular day he was there. Um,
Mm.
so with my father and my grandmother, we had to drive to tell my brother, my mama's only boy, that she was no longer with us.
Mm.
And I didn't want to be the one that had to go break that news to my brother
Right.
because I already knew what it was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so when we stopped at the store, I decided that I didn't want to be with them no more. That I just wanted to leave. So I went in the convenience store and I had just turned 16 and I went in the convenience store and I stole a bottle of Tylenol and I took that whole bottle of Tylenol in the bathroom. And I remember waking up and I was looking around and I looked at my brother and I was like, dang, failed attempt. I'm
Dang.
still here. That was the first thing. And I know they was like, why is this girl yelling? Like, I just yelled out
Right.
because I failed at that. Here I
Mm.
was, still here. Like, and now I was mad at God because I had asked him to take me instead of taking my mom because I didn't understand. I was young. I didn't know.
Mm-hmm. He
You know
still
what I'm
had
saying?
purpose for you though.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
couldn't let you go.
I didn't know all this. I didn't know all this then.
Yeah.
But now that I know, but that journey, it was hard. It truly was hard. It was something that if I could take it back, I would take it back, but I can't. And when I began to share and to let people know, I don't want people to know about that because this was the first time that I've ever shared this with anybody that I've tried to commit suicide.
Oh
Didn't
man.
want nobody to know. So that was hard. I cried. I was embarrassed because I'm like, how are people gonna look at me? And then
Mm.
I struggled with that thing for months before I finally said, okay, Angela, if you want to heal people, if you want people to not have to go through what you went through, then you're gonna have to share. And if people are hurt behind the things that you share, then let it be. I
Right.
had to share stories about how I was treated my junior and senior year in high school,
Mm-hmm.
you know, things that I dealt with that I didn't felt like no teenager should have had to deal with,
Right.
and there was more suicide attempts. So that journey, I know that journey. So I understand. Take your time. And if you have to cry along this journey, if you have to seek other people's help, whatever you have to do to get through this, take your time. Take your time and just get it out. Because when you do, just imagine the lives that you're going to be able to impact because you were able to get past this. It's just
Yeah.
a test. It's just another test so that you'll have a testimony at the end.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Man, let me tell you, I'm really glad that you were not successful. That meant more to me than you can ever imagine because I really struggle with this all the time. Um, yeah, I've done that. I've popped pills, I've tried everything, but it God wasn't finished with you. He wasn't finished with me either. And we both have purpose. This interview wasn't by mistake. It was destined to happen. It was already planned. He had already had this line aligned, and I think that's a beautiful thing. So, congrats to you for staying strong. And being out here helping writing all these books. How many books do you got, by the way? Anyways,
I have 19 total.
what? 19. I had to lay back on that one. I had to do a dip. 19.
19. But they're not all my books by myself because I
Okay.
like to do collaboration projects. And I do collaboration projects so that I can provide an opportunity for that person that may think that they don't have a voice or may not know the steps to take to become a published author.
Mm.
And then a lot of people make it seem like it's so hard when it's not, if we will help each other and assist each other. A lot of things could be a lot easier in this world. But yeah, I have 19 books
19
um
books. Over how long? Like,
since 2016.
what? That's what, 5 years? Almost 5 years? Woo, it's
Yep.
taking me 5 years to write one.
Going
That's
on 5 years.
crazy. Yeah, I mentioned Queen G, Shanta Gibson. I forgot how many she has, but she got like nine. No, she got like I think it's 11 or 12, maybe 11 or 12 books. Um, and then like 15 magazines or something like that. She
Wow.
got a lot. Yeah. When we get done with the show, I definitely want to get you and the both of you on a line. I think you guys will. I think a collaboration between you and Shantae would be awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Awesome.
So,
Amazing.
out of the 19 books, do you have a favorite?
I do. And let me share it with you.
Oh yeah, I
I
want to
think this
see
one is my
this.
this is my favorite. This is the last one that was well, it's a tie. This is the last one that was released. But I also have a suicide awareness book. And I can pull let me pull that really quick because I
Oh
have
yeah,
that.
let me see that. You know I'm gonna have to borrow your books. I buy everybody I interview. I buy a book.
This is a suicide awareness book.
Ooh, ooh, I use that as a background on something.
So this is
Dang.
yeah. So we I have the new number that you can dial, the
Let me see
star
that.
988. We now have star 988
Nice.
that you can call if you are having suicidal issues.
Hmm.
If you may be going through something, if you know somebody that may be struggling, like the 911 number, star 988, you can call, talk to somebody. And if it's a serious situation, they can even have somebody dispatched to come out. That is something great that they just passed, and it's going to be national. So I'm
Yes,
excited
that's
about
that's
that.
amazing. We're gonna have to collaborate on that. I like that. I like that. I really try to focus on helping people out because man, I know a lot of people that be going through a lot of stuff. And besides me just voicing, how I feel and what I've been through and stuff like that that's the only way I know how to reach them. So I mean, I'm not a doctor or a counselor or anything like that. Maybe I should become a counselor. But yeah, that's beautiful, man. Congrats to you and your team for that. Like, that's amazing. Real talk. Yo, if anybody out there, y'all heard Angela, if you ever going through something, depression, suicide, major anxiety, anything like that, and you just in a dark spot, star 988, right?
Yep.
Star 988, yo, and get the help. Let somebody listen. Pour into that person and just let it out because trust me, don't hold it in. Don't hold it in. That's not good at all. That's a
It's
beautiful
not.
thing.
In
That's a
spite of
beautiful
what
thing.
people don't told us, it's okay. It's okay not to be strong. You do not have to be strong. It's okay.
Yeah.
And getting help does not mean that you're weak. It
Yeah.
does not mean that you're weak.
I learned that. I learned that. That's real. So let's talk about the E3 experience. I've heard you say this like 5 times so far, so I gotta know everything about it. So you got the E3 experience. This is something she thrives on. This she loves to push this message. It's educate, empower, and encourage. But I want to talk about on an individual level. So as far as educate, explain that to me. As far as what you do.
So I feel like that you can never learn too much. That you should always be open to learn. I'm always a student. I can never get too high to where I cannot learn.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always I take every opportunity to use it as a learning experience. And the things that I learn, I try to share with other people. I don't want to just sit down on them. So that's where the empowerment comes in. I want to empower people through the things that I learn in my life, whether it's through formal education, whether it's through street education or spiritual education or whatever educational form it is. What the knowledge that I gain, I want to be able to pass it on to someone else because if I die tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
nothing that I have is going to go with me. And what good do it do if it's laying over there in that box, wherever they put me? What good
Right.
do it do? Because
Right.
it's not going to go with me because he gave me these gifts and these talents to you to be utilized down here
Mm-hmm.
in this dimension.
Yes.
So
Nice.
that's the
Empower.
education part. So empower. Um I want people to take the things that they learn in every aspect of their life and use it to equip you, to take you to the next level. Um, we have to understand that in that word "in power," it
Hmm.
means something within you,
Yes.
and that you got to be able to pull that power up out of you.
Yes.
So that's what that's it in a nutshell.
Beautiful, beautiful. And the last but not least, encourage.
All that you have done, it does you no good to hold it in if you're not going to encourage somebody around you. I tell people all the time, think of yourself as a pebble or a rock,
Hmm.
and you being tossed into the river or the pond, and that ripple that you make when you hit, that energy that flows out. That's what
Hmm.
you want to be. That ripple. I want my ripples to rip.
I like
So
that.
I just want my ripples to rip. I want when I walk into a room, I
Uh-huh.
don't want to have to open my mouth and say anything. I want my energy, my vibrations to connect with you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want my vibes to let you know that I have good vibes,
Yes.
that I'm a good person, that my soul is
Yes.
good,
Yes.
and I'm here to help. That's what
Yes.
I want
That's
to give off.
beautiful. That's beautiful, yo. Make sure that y'all check out my girl Angela Thomas Smith, yo. I love this whole thing. The E3 experience, y'all. Let me repeat it. It's the E3 experience. E3 experience. The 3 E's is educate, empower, and encourage, y'all. Make sure that you follow this, yo. I love that. Everybody should live about that, like educating, empowering, encouraging people to do everything. I think any entrepreneur or author that's trying to teach something is pretty much doing that. But the way that you put it together is so dope.
Look, I can
Definitely got to
show
get some
you.
merch.
Look, I got a calendar that I did for 2021, and it breaks down 12 words, 12 different words that God dropped in my spirit. I got
Nice.
my calendar. Let me share it with you really quick. But how about power is one of those words?
Okay.
So, I do a Monday motivational show starting in January.
Starting
So the
January.
first word, January
All
4th.
right.
So the
January
first
4th.
word is gift.
Okay, hold on. Let me bring you up. Gift.
So the first word is gift.
Okay.
The second word is life,
Nice.
and that is a life with the E3 experience. So it's LIFE, love, inspiration, fear of God, and the E3 experience.
Wow.
And then you got help,
Okay.
transform,
Ooh, speak to him.
motivate,
Oh yeah.
evolve,
Ooh.
truth.
Mm.
Gotta know who you are.
Yeah.
Power,
Power.
heal,
Ooh, that's a good one.
renew,
Mm-hmm. And
reset.
reset. Ooh, we. Yes, that's powerful.
And restore.
Yes, that's
So this
powerful.
Sunday coming up, I'm going to be hosting a conference, a virtual conference on Facebook,
Okay.
and it's called Renew, Reset, and Restore. You
Okay.
know why? Because I shared this calendar with somebody, and they asked me about the last three words: renew,
Mm-hmm.
reset, and restore. And they asked me, why did I put it in that order? They said, why would he reset you after he renew you
Mm-hmm.
to restore you? I said, well, I can't speak for nobody else. I can only speak for me. But in renewing my mind, and the words say renew your mind, renew your heart.
Mm-hmm.
So in doing that, we have to understand that he had a plan for us, according to Jeremiah 29:11.
Mm-hmm.
He had a plan for us. And the choices that we made and the things that we made, we got off track. Because I know I did. I can't speak to nobody else. I got all the way off track.
Mm-hmm.
I did not follow the plan that he had for my life. So he, after he renewed my mind, He had to reset me to get me back on that path that he had for me, not the
Mm-hmm.
path that I had for me. So he had to reset me to in order to restore me back to that path. That's why I put it in that order.
Mm, mm. You powerful. I see you. You powerful. I love that. Can are you selling those calendars?
I have two more, but I can get more. I can order them. So if anyone would like to purchase one, because what's going to happen with this calendar?
Mm-hmm.
Every Monday, I have a motivational speaker, life coach, somebody that's going to come on and co-host with me. And on the calendar, you can see who's going to be on. Um,
Oh, okay.
it'll tell you who's going to be on. So I'm booked all the way up to August. So from August on, so yeah, I'm gonna have to get you on. So from August on, I'm free. But each month we're gonna be touching on whatever this word is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're gonna touch on each week. So
Okay.
I have the calendar for them to follow. I also created a journal book for them to if they want to follow along in the journal book, keep notes, keep up with those that are coming out to help, because it's gonna if individuals, if 52 different individuals come on my platform, that's what I want. 52 different individuals, so that means somebody different every week that's gonna come on and motivate those that follow me and encourage them. It's not about me. Nothing that I do is about me. It's about those lives that I'm supposed to impact. I used to wonder about this journey that I was on. And
Ooh,
I
don't
used to
we
wonder because
all?
people don't know. People, I sit before people and they say they oftentimes tell me how beautiful I am. Thank you, but they don't know the journey that I've been through. I was
Mm-hmm.
shot point blank range with a shotgun. Shouldn't even be here.
What?
Yeah, domestic violence, shot point blank range with a shotgun, May 7th, 2016.
You see my face? How?
Literally,
Wow.
the doctors told me I remember waking up. My niece was standing over me. My dad was sitting over. God rest his soul. My dad was sitting over to the left of me, and I remember them talking to my dad and telling my dad if I walk again, it will be years before I walk. But I know the God that I serve. I will not sit down on him because I know what he did for me. That same day, the physical therapy people came in my room with a walker and they asked me if I wanted to walk. They was in the wrong room. They didn't even realize they was in the wrong room until we had walked down the hall.
We
But they
walk
asked
down
me
the
if
hall.
I wanted to walk. They asked me if I wanted to walk. I said, "Yeah, can we put all this stuff on the walker?" They was like, "Yeah, we can put it on there." And they hooked I had a pump on my leg that was pumping all the dead skin, all the dead cells out of my leg. Um, I walked down the hall. We walked to the nurse's station. They said, "Do you want to go any farther?" I said, "Yes." So we walked to the end of the hall, walked back, and I have not stopped walking. I've not stopped walking. I never went to physical therapy. I never went anywhere. But I said I would not sit down on the goodness of God. I would share His goodness wherever I go.
Won't he do it
And
though?
He gave me
Ooh.
AALAC. He gave me all. He
Wee.
gave me this to do what I've supposed to been doing for years, even before this. I knew that I had a calling on my life, but I knew that I didn't want to stand in the pulpit, and I knew that didn't want to preach, but I knew that I had to touch people's lives, and I knew that my life was going to be a testimony for other people. And I thank God for this journey. Sometimes I know I don't understand. Like, people ask me, how do I press? How do I keep going? I don't know if you know
I
this,
was
but
about to ask you that.
you know, I just buried my brother. Last Sunday, I received the news right before I went on air. I
Mm.
do a radio show every Sunday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And right before I got ready to go on air, I received news that my brother had passed. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
stop. I did my show. I did everything that I had to do. I canceled my Wednesday and Thursday show because I had to go upstate South Carolina to the funeral. I
Mm-hmm.
went. I keep it pushing because I know that my brother's in a better place. I know that my brother don't have to. He don't have to wait on nobody to stretch his head no more for him. He don't have to
Mm-hmm.
wait on nobody to push him in the stomach so he can cough. My brother was a quiet. He been suffering
Oh,
for years. You know, he don't have to worry about that. He don't have to worry about that old body no more. He don't have to
right.
worry about that depleted body because he has a new body now.
Boy, he up
No,
there
I
just
may not see
enjoying
him in
life.
it physically. I may not see him physically, but I tell you, even when I look on Facebook at the picture of him, I never realized how much me and my brother look alike. I never knew that until I looked at that picture.
Sister, you strong.
So hey, it is what it
Jesus.
is. I can't tell people. I can't constantly come on here and tell people how to do this and how to do this if I'm not doing it myself. I lead by example.
Yes.
I lead by example.
Preach.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's hard. It's not
Mm-hmm.
easy. It's not easy. But
Mm.
I thank God for the people in my circle, and I thank Him for the word. I know how to go and find myself in that word. If I'm going through something, yeah, sometimes I have to cry, sometimes I have to yell, sometimes I have to do what I have to do.
Yes.
But it is what it is because this life right here, this is temporal. I'm trying to get that eternal life. So I got to work on that spirit.
Ooh, doggy girl, let me tell you. You gotta give me a high five through the camera. Man, I would have. That is crazy, yo. But y'all gotta pay attention to her story. Like I had no idea. We was just talking in the backstage. I had no idea whatsoever. But to know that and to it allows me to understand the push, the drive, that much more. It was like it cleared up for me. Because I'm really good at reading people, but I didn't read that. You know what I mean? But it sister, you are powerful. It's built inside of you. It's in there and it's coming out. And it's coming out in all the right ways, yo. Like I'm so glad. I'm so glad that I'm a survivor of suicide. And you are too, and that you're still here to plant these seeds and press on and push these messages out, cause Lord Jesus, thank you God, and rest in peace to everybody that you've lost. I'm
I'm telling you, you don't even know. This has been a journey. And when I tell you, if I could May 2017, I lost my grandmother, I lost two cousins, I lost three family members to suicide. That's what birthed the suicide message in me because I wasn't even thinking about suicide, even though I had attempted all those
mm-hmm.
times. Wasn't thinking about advocating for suicide. But when I began to lose family members and began to see people in my community affected. I say it's time that somebody speak up. We can't keep being silent. We can't keep hurting in silence and keep letting this happen to other people. And I said, you know what? I struggled with this. So why not step out of your comfort zone and share it with other people? Share it with
Yes.
people. And when I began to share with people, that's when I began to find out that other people in my circle had dealt with this too. 20 of us. And it was supposed to be 30 people in this book.
Whew.
But only 20 of us was able to follow through with it
Mm-hmm.
because we were tired of allowing people to hurt in silence.
Right.
We got a second edition that's going to come out this year. Um,
Okay. I'm
we
trying to get in that one.
we're going to have a second edition coming out this year. I'll definitely keep you up
Updated.
to date on on,
Thank you.
on, on
Thank you.
that. I definitely will.
That's amazing.
I just believe that I can't continue to see my people hurt. I
Mm-hmm.
can't do it. I can't continue to allow them to hurt and me see them hurt
Mm-mm.
and do nothing about it. I can't because that's just like blood on my hand. I
Mm.
can't deal with that blood. And I don't know how some of these people sleep at night. But that's their conscience. My conscience deal with me. It deals with me. So I have to I want to make a difference. I want to see people thrive. I want to see people doing stuff. People ask me all the time, Angela, why you do this? Why you do this? Why you do this for free? Why you do this for free? Why you don't charge people for this? And God didn't tell me to. He didn't
Right.
tell me to do a lot of the stuff that a lot of people doing. Like this one lady, she copied. my website, everything for everything. And I was like, this took some time for her to do that. And everybody was saying, I mean, people were sending me screenshots. They was coming in my inbox telling me, like, have you seen this person's website? Have you seen this person's website? I'm like, no. But everybody was expecting me to get mad. Everybody was expecting me to retaliate. Everybody was expecting me to go on Facebook and do this long, drawn out.
Put on blast.
But I didn't.
Right.
I kept quiet. And this when this pandemic began, God told me to be still and know that I'm God.
Mm.
I took that scripture. It's on my wall. I took that scripture and I applied it to everything. Be still and know that I'm God. Be still and know that I'm God. Even when I lost my job in April. When they told me, okay, we're gonna lay you off, but then they called me back 2 hours later saying, no, you can come back to work because we're gonna lay somebody else off. No, you're not gonna put somebody else's life at more valuable than mine. You don't laid me
Mm.
off because you said I was the last person to get hired. So that's how y'all do this. But then somebody else say that they're at higher risk, then you want me to come back to work and you're gonna lay them off. No. So I ended up getting fired and they tried to fight my unemployment. But be still and know that I'm God. Show me who he was.
Yeah, you ain't never lie.
Show me who he was.
Yeah,
Okay.
you ain't never
Throughout
lie.
this whole thing, be still and know that I'm God. And that's what I've been standing on. And people need to know that. You
Mm.
know, sometimes we have to let go and let God. We have to get out the way. Get out your own way and let God do it for you sometime. You know,
Mm.
we think we got to be all the way this way or all the way. You're never gonna be perfect. So get that. You're never gonna be perfect. For that person that thinking that they got to be perfect before they do this or do that, it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah,
And
you
I'm
ain't
gonna
never
stop
lied.
talking because you know what, I will be talking all day. We can, we definitely gonna have to stay connected, and we definitely gonna have to
Yeah,
do
we
some
definitely
things.
gonna
But
have to have a part two, yo. We are coming to the end of the show. Sister, let me say this. Actually, you know what? I like at the end of the show, I like to do one piece of advice. So if you can give one piece of advice, and you've gave a million pieces of advice already, and they both, I mean, all every last one of them was meaningful to me. So I'm sure it's gonna be meaningful to you out there in the audience. But if you can give one piece of advice to anybody in the world, or any group, any whatever, what would that one piece of advice be?
I want people to be who you are, just like the show. It says just be. Be who you are and stop allowing people to tell you who you are. Find out who you are.
Mm.
Discover you. Love who you are.
Yes, yes, I definitely agree. Let me your social media must be popping because your phone going off.
For real though. And it's like every time this is all the time, but it's okay.
That's a beautiful thing, though, man. You're really out here pushing this message. I have a new love for you. This is
I thank you.
this conversation was beautiful, and I really do appreciate you reaching out. You probably seen one of my flyers or whatever, whatever. I'll put something out, but thank you for responding to it and reaching out to be on the show. Like I told you before, you never know who you're going to interview. You never know how deep that conversation is going to go, how big that interview is going to, be exposed to the world. And I'm going to help you push this one because this is amazing. You taught me a lot. You was just I was having a bad day and you just preaching to me and I'm like, oh, I needed that one. Let me get that one. Let me get that. Oh, I need that one too. Now I just want to hug you. And it's been a beautiful thing.
Well, I plan on coming to Vegas for my birthday, so
Okay, come to the LV. That's
hopefully
what's up. But make
hopefully we can get
sure
that
that
hug.
y'all follow her at on that's Facebook, right? Facebook at Queen of Collaborations, right?
And Instagram, yes, and
Oh, and
Instagram.
Instagram. I gotta go follow you on Instagram. I'm tripping. I'm gonna go follow you, I promise. But make sure Instagram and Facebook, Queen of Collaborations, yo. And make sure that y'all learn more about the E3 experience. And I want you guys to implement that into your everyday lives because it's needed. Not only for myself, not only for Angela, not only for everybody that's watching, but everybody in the world. We all need that. And my one piece of advice, man, Angela is the prime example of my empowerment group, my nonprofit. Is Stack. She stands tall and she conquers challenges and she makes it through any and every situation possible. And she let go, she let God, and she be still. And she out here killing the game. Sister, thank you again for coming on to the Just Be Show.
Thank
and the
you.
last thing I want to say, y'all know what it is. I need you to smile, laugh, and definitely motivate. Inspire one to inspire all. And last but not least, drop it. And yo, just be the best version of yourself. Your best damn self.